I'm really don't know early enough.
Okay.
Once you're done with the company work, absolutely done. Bedroom? Oh, yeah.
He was shouting, but he sounded like he was miles away. He managed to scare off Damien. Then he locked the door. And he looked over at me. Reality finally caught up. I collapsed. My roommate stayed with me and called 911. He kept telling me to stay awake to keep me from passing out. I focused on the pain of him pressing his body weight into my abdomen to slow the bleeding. At last, the ambulance came. With a drip of morphine and a bag of blood, they told me everything would be all right. I'm lucky to be able to say they were telling the truth. I recovered, albeit with a chunk of PTSD to work through. Thanks to the help from my community, Damien was arrested. I'm immensely grateful to them, and most of all to my roommate. Had he not been home, had he not acted in my defense, something far worse could have happened to me. If not for him, I might not even be alive. A customer who frequented the store in Connecticut stalked an employee before stabbing her 7 times on Valentine's Day. Damien Davis, 35, is charged with assault, home invasion, burglary, and stalking. The victim is alive but injured. According to the documents, Davis was known to frequent Sam's food store in Manchester where the victim worked. On the evening of the stabbing, surveillance camera captured Davis crouching near basement doors outside of the victim's home. He was described as wearing a complicated hooded mask. When the victim came home shortly after 7 p.m., Davis opened the door and went inside after her. A nearby Ring camera recorded screams from the victim. A few seconds later, Davis is seen fleeing the home. The victim's cousin, who was also in the home, reported witnessing the suspect stab the victim. Prior to the incident, Davis hung out at a smoke shop telling others he was dating the victim. A witness there said Davis made a lot of inappropriate lewd remarks about the victim. Following the stabbing, from her hospital bed, the victim told her mother that she knew who her attacker was because he had come into the store earlier that day. Police tracked Davis down and arrested him. Davis told police where he ditched the knife and also admitted to slashing tires in the victim's driveway in a previous incident.
We really needed that power slide. Really needed that power slide.
That's crazy.
A lot of people have been telling me I'm lucky I haven't died or gone to jail yet. I don't think luck has a single thing to do with it. City jewelry business saved me from a whole lot of trouble. I don't mess with any of that shady shit. I do things right. Honesty keeps the people coming back to me because they know I'm 100% real. Every day I have to manage my anger issues, or I might crash out on the first person that asks for it. Everybody gets on each other's nerves constantly. It's a fact of life around here. I gotta deal with all types of customers, posers, and thieves. But there's one type of person I really can't stand. And it's some of the other jewelers in the city. Don't get me wrong, I respect rivalries. But there's a difference between fair competition and the kind of sneaky, conniving crap these rats get up to. They cut, scam, and rip off every customer they can, making all the rest of us honest jewelers look like crooks too. There's a certain individual who's more guilty of this than anyone else. His lawyers are relentless, so I'll just call him the scammer, because that's what he is to his core. Shops are close together in the Diamond District, and he takes full advantage of his proximity to my store to use my personal brand for his own gain. Time and time again, I've had people come up with something they claim they bought from me, only for them to later find out that it wasn't the same quality we advertised, or that the piece was completely fake. They asked me for a refund, and because I'm a good businessman, I work with them. I asked to see the receipt. Most people trust me, so he lies and says we're business partners selling the same stock, when in reality his shit is garbage. The first time it happened, I couldn't believe he had the balls to use my name while ripping someone off. I honestly thought it had to be a mistake, so I refunded it and said nothing, because I have a little something called integrity. Then it happened again, and again, and again. That slimy bastard would use my name anytime he wanted to rip someone off. I don't know how many people he scammed who never even realized it, but with each person that came to me with proof, my patience got thinner and thinner. When I tried to be reasonable with it, I was ignored and cast aside like the worthless crappy pedals from his store. He thought I was just gonna let it happen, let him tarnish my name, ruin my legacy. But for so long, I tried to keep my emotions together. But then, one of my most loyal customers came in after getting duped by the scammer. They were sold a bracelet that might as well have been made of tinfoil and yellow spray paint, and that rat charged them like it was 14-karat gold. I think you'll find this one particularly dazzling. Platinum hands, mother of pearl face. And that adjustable solid sterling silver chain makes this watch a steal at only $5,999.
It sure is beautiful. I just don't know if I can afford it, though.
No worries, madam. We offer payment plans with interest rates as low as 30%. Where's my money? Where's my fucking money?
Oh, dear.
I said, where's my money, bitch? Yes? High 3? 14? This is a piece of plastic you sold using my name! My fucking name! Can I get a little help over here? Get him away from me, please! You rat bastard piece of shit! Come here! At the last second, the scammer's cronies got a hold of me and pulled me back. They dragged me out of the store, saying I was lucky I hadn't hit him. Otherwise, I'd be going to jail. I was still pissed, but I knew what they were saying was true. I almost crossed the line. After a few minutes, I calmed down considerably, enough to go in and try talking to the man again. I knew he was just a scammer, but I was telling myself I needed to talk with him man to man. Screaming and fighting would get us nowhere, and at the end of the day, I had my customers' faith in me on the line, so I needed to do this right. There was still a scene when I approached the scammer the second time, but it was much calmer. Yet what did he do? He spat in my face. I grabbed that son of a bitch and smacked him right before his bodyguard swarmed in all over me. I kept going for that rat, and he deserved it. The whole store turned into a goddamn brawl, and I was at the center, getting pulled away from my target, then beaten until I finally managed to break loose and get away. When the dust settled, I found myself in the hospital. But you know my favorite part? The scammer finally found himself where he belongs, in jail. However, I'm still waiting for my money. Rival jewelers in Manhattan's Diamond District erupted into a wild caught-on-camera brawl Friday afternoon in front of stunned shoppers, landing 2 business owners in cuffs and another in the hospital. Georgia K., 46, and his brother, 42, were both busted for allegedly pummeling their competing jeweler, Trax NYC owner Maksud Agajani, during the violent clash inside their shared business space on West 47th Street, accusing them of ripping off both him and his customers in a viral social media post. Security eventually let him out of the store, but in a second clip, the feud between the rivals reignited before the brother spits in Trax's face, sparking an explosive clash that led him swarmed by a pack of men and allegedly beaten down. Trax was taken to a hospital where he recorded another video showing red marks around his neck, saying the rivals tried strangling him with his own chain. The Akay brothers were charged with assault.
Being able to build an app with thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
I'm a worker at my local Walmart supercenter. There are hundreds of other employees besides me. I barely know or interact with any of them. An old widower, twice my age, retired a long time ago, but he kept himself busy here as a greeter. All evening long, he was checking receipts, talking to customers, doing his best to make Walmart seem less like the gigantic faceless mega corporation that it is. I was a cart jockey. Since I spent 80% of my time in the parking lot and entrance, Mike and I would socialize the most, since we worked in the same area. Recently, however, there had been rumors of a potential serial shoplifter. For the longest time, we never even knew his name, just that mean came whenever he felt like it, and nobody could stop him. Sometimes the security guys would see him on the cameras, but they would never mobilize in time. Like, the dude was huge and scary looking, so nobody wanted to go near him. At a loss, we called the cops multiple times. They always showed up too late and offered too little. One day, Mike and I got to talking about this asshole. He took a level of pride in what he did, and stopping shoplifters was part of that. As he put it, this repeat offender was what was coming to him. He said the next time he saw the guy, he was going to stop him no matter what. He just needed some backup. So I agreed. 2 nights later, time came. Nobody noticed the thief entering. He seemed to have gotten pretty good at blending. He stood out like a sore thumb. I was in the middle of the parking lot when I heard Mike shouting, and that's when I knew it was go time. Immediately, I stopped what I was doing and ran to the entrance. I got there just in time as Mike was chasing and grabbing the thief, so I jumped in to help.
Get your hands off me, you wrinkly son of a bitch! You're not going... I've had it with you!
Hey, it's over, man. Just give up already.
Let go or I'll kill both of you!
I'm not scared of you, punk.
Pussies! You swine! Never come back here!
Before I got a chance to do anything, that guy socked me right in the face. He put me on the ground with a single hit, leaving me shocked and dazed. I realized the thief had gotten away. My first clear thought was to make sure Mike was all right. I was worried he'd gotten hit too, and for a guy his age, a fall like the one I took can be deadly, but he was basically untouched. Funnily enough, he was the only one who came to help me and make sure I was all to my feet, knowing I'd probably just have a black eye. Afterwards, Mike and I stood in the same spot for a bit, flabbergasted at what the hell just happened. Then, out of nowhere, a car blasted over time to react. For a moment, everything just went black. The impact knocked me out harder than any punch ever could. When I Seconds later, I was so afraid of dying that I forced myself to get up, fighting through the agonizing pain that every tiny movement caused. I looked one way and saw the thief's car speeding off. Looking the other way, I saw Mike on the ground a good distance from me, but he wasn't moving. I tried to wake him up, but the pain was too much for me, so I started screaming.
Mike?
The stubborn bastard clung to life in the hospital for weeks before succumbing to his injuries. I had no idea if he suffered during that time or what. No way to know. As for myself, I had some broken bones and a concussion. But it beats being dead. A few days later, the thief. Turns out his name was Timothy. I guess no mother envisions their offspring will grow up to be a monster. What that man did to Mike is a goddamn shame. It me every day. Obviously, by the time I got back to work, I didn't care. I was working the night of October 16 at Walmart when 34-year-old Timothy died. One other employee. Bushy later died at the hospital. Basal was stopped earlier. Basal argued and yelled at the employees in the parking lot before allegedly getting into his vehicle and driving at the group, ultimately striking 2 employees. Basal fled the Walmart, but police later pursued him. He crashed on Perry Road and was arrested. He was charged with the assaults, driving while intoxicated, and leaving the scene of an accident. Court